When others were saying this is it, after a little bit of correction we are going through the skies, I stood in my opinion about the support and resistance. Previously I highlighted this is going to respect that support and resistance, and yes, the price did respect that. Now this horizontal line which you see there, 0.36, 0.35, 0.34, that would be the zone there. This black line indicates you that this is kind of a support level on we are at. So we need to slowly stay ahead, calm down, then reverse back to retest this one. Otherwise, we're going to come all the way down towards the bottom here. And that won't be a good choice. Always buy at a support and sell at resistance. This is my video on Jan 31st in which I highlighted that to you guys. This area is going to be a resistance. And before that, a week before, a month before, we were discussing about how we are going to come back, retest this area and this long-term trend line, and the short to medium-term trend line support is acting as a huge buying opportunity. And then we pumped all the way from 0.25, 0.26 towards 0.5. Now, yes, the euphoria got in and we pushed our way higher, right? That pushed us much higher. And that's why now other coins are running and XRP is still correcting. But remember, in the last 7 days, if you are looking at this, except Dodge, we are still moving like a top gainer. Now the question is, what should you anticipate from here? For that, we will need to go through the technical analysis, we'll need to go through the charts, detail it in different time frame and understand what you can expect. Because the pump and dump narrative has become a negative issue. Different exchanges are looking at this. XRP faces more exchange suspension following this narrative being pushed out. We were already at the support. We are anyway going to bounce towards 0.5, 0.55, and if we manage to close and break and close above, then yes, we were actually going to the skies. But this kind of narrative comes in and the market goes volatile upside down and that just goes bad. But Ethereum is giving you that symbol that the altcoins are going to go high. Yes, Ethereum just went above that. It passed through its all-time high with volume and went to new highs. So Ethereum just broke through the roof, and then you have to look at the entire market cap rising. The crypto market cap, you can see it's above 1 trillion again. So now we are reaching that 1 trillion mark, consolidating there, and we are going to slowly move to the upside. So as that sees, you can actually understand there's a lot of other opportunities in this market. If you're trading this market, do look at other assets where you have a lot of volume. Then look at opportunities. You will understand we were all watching these patterns to play out, and that did play out to an extent. Now, when you look at all of these stuff and look at the market technical direction, you need to understand what really is happening. Otherwise, if you're going in different time frame to understand the trend, it would really become hard for you. Now, that was on a shorter time frame, right? Now, if you zoom out and put it like this on a long term, you can still see the trend line is valid. Now that trend line is a rising trend line, and at the same time you can see that the RSI is respecting similar pattern. We actually went through this. Now if you plot this correctly, what you can observe here is that we are still moving to the upside. So have we hit the resistance on RSI? No, we are just doing our regular correction. How can you know that? You look at this, we came up, then a correction and then bounced. We went up, correction and bounce. We went up, a lot of correction and then bounce. So all of these you have to understand is at the bottom we are giving that higher low in RSI, and if you look at the MACD couple of days back, like 2 days I didn't put video, I was a little bit busy, but if you look at this stuff, you'll understand now we are entering in the positive territory. So Now it's time for you to stay positive instead of being negative. If you're stuck somewhere here, entering in the FOMO, doing the opposite of what you should do. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Look at these news. It shows you the fundamental and the direction where we are headed. Bank of International Settlements highlight you this one, and now that is really important to go through each and every words in that. How should regulations evolve to promote fair competition between traditional banks and fintech and big tech players? Now the big tech player here, which they are pointing out, would be Facebook as of now, when they are entering into payment space using WhatsApp, when they are looking at a digital asset, centralized one anyway. But all of these are kind of towards the same direction. They want a clear regulation. How should regulations evolve? So they are looking to change that, and as we change, they are also saying this thing, and that's really important to understand. They are looking at this and saying digital currencies are okay, but only central banks should be issuing that. So if it is based on them, they need central bank digital currencies to be active. But how will you bridge that? And there is where you look at the infrastructure, and that is where XRP, the Intelliger protocol, and other payment assets like Quant and their interoperability layer comes into play. And this is some of the information you need to digest properly as you progress through these, because as you can see here, Federal Reserve has updated the industry-wide launch of FedNow service to a full year ahead of originally announced timing. So now it's going live by 2023, a year ahead, right? So the payments area, as I showed you, is getting congested, and they are competing. Why? Because the fintech players are already in place. They just need to switch into that fully active mode, flip the switch kind of thing, and then we are ready to go. But here in the technicals, you'll have a lot of carnage like this. In the meantime, before you pick up your profit and move, you need to understand, if you don't understand this market properly, it's going to be really hard for you. Volatility will kick in, and if you are not positioned well, then that's going to hurt your portfolio. If your portfolio has a lot of different assets, you can get support. You can look at the Patreon, the link is given in the description, and this is the starting of the month where you get 100% of the value for what you pay. So if you have a lot of different assets and you need to rebalance it, manage it, looking at the market cycle, I'm there for you. Right now, when you look at this, I would say, it's way better to zoom out first, because a lot of guys I see here are missing the point on what we are actually doing. Because when you connect, say, this top, this top, this top, and extend it to see what really is happening there, it's easy to get into different narratives. But with the technical showing you the right direction, you won't be lost. Look at here, we actually are so easy. If you are looking at this in the RSI, the price is moving in this particular pattern. You just need to be patient. Look at the MACD. It's in the bottom. I agree, it's in the negative territory, but it's crossing to the upside, and that's happening, remember, when the daily has bounced instead of crossing to the downside and moving to the positive side with a bulge. So that kind of gives you again an idea when you move back in to a 3-day chart and use a Heikin-Ashi chart. This helps you to understand what's happening. Now this reduces the noise. Now, yeah, if you use a 1-minute chart or something like that, it would be really hard to use a Heikin-Ashi. Whereas if you are a long-term trader with patience and perseverance, this is one of the best tools you can use to understand the market. You just go in, use this on a weekly, monthly, or whichever you are looking at. But it kind of gives you that easy idea that we had volume here. The volume was reducing, then the volume started to come back, and then we are moving up, right? Those candles which you see with high volatility here, you have to understand previously when we had that, the moving average was above us and it acted as a resistance. But right now, we are above the moving average. Now remember, this is on a weekly, we are above the 50 and 200-day moving average, and that's really bullish. That's really bullish because you go back in history, you can see how these events held. But if you connect the RSI, you will understand that the price was always respecting some level. It came back below that, but when it went up, it went through the skies. Now you come back in, you kind of put this back into the Japanese candle, and now you look at this. You get the idea that the current candle is going to push you way lower these bottoms. Because the RSI is pointing you towards the downside. Now these lines are not aligned well for the weekly chart of Heikin-Ashi because it aligned it with the other chart. So here when I come back on a daily and look at it like this, you see a lot of fluctuations. Now how will you actually manage these? You need to first understand how you're gonna play this game. Because if you do understand this game, it's going to be easy for you. Now, one of the main thing I would like to say here is, first identify supports. Say this is a support, this is another one, this is another one. So when you connect these, how your trend line moves, it's kind of a curve, right? So you are now trying to, either if you're trying to plot it like this, you kind of get a short to medium term idea. But that was in a bear market. So you were looking for a bearish pattern, right? Now we kind of ended the long-term scenario here in which we were going bearish in different time frame. Now these supports, when you connect all of them clearly, you kind of end up correctly like this. So when you are looking at these, you do have to understand you need to give room for euphoric actions. The market will always show you euphoric actions like what we just saw recently, because everyone thought, okay, this is going to $1, this is going to $10, $15, and I was like, okay, $10, $15 in a day. I'm not saying it's not possible, but based on the rate of adoption which we see for this asset, you need to understand we will perform based on the technicals. Now, yes, the fundamentals is always there, and that's why I say this. Look at the macro scenario, and in the macro scenario, if you are seeing this, that the asset is going to move like this, you need to always follow the macro direction. If you're placing your trades, always follow it based on the macro direction. XRP being so volatile and at least in my opinion so manipulated, you definitely need to understand the market and stay within the support and resistance line. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for you to manage your positions. Now, when you look at this, say a closer view, you can go into a 12-hour chart or a 4-hour chart, which should be fine, but nothing more closer to that. You can see a fake out here, right? The candle, first candle closed above that, and the next candle pushed us right back into this. So these are fake outs. Now, if you are looking at that, still you get one idea that buyers are interested to buy this asset. But this time, the narrative is different. We were holding this particular trend line. Yes, that's really bullish. In the long term, even after all these bad news, we are still holding these lines. Now, once we go above this, yes, we have some overhead resistance. But before that, you need to understand one thing. We went above. We closed above, we are staying above what, right? So on a medium time frame, you can actually plot this easily, connecting all these bottoms, and you'll easily understand that the pattern is still valid for you to still make profit. Looking at the bottom of this pattern towards the roof of this, last time we did this, remember, we went through 200-250% of gains. Now your anticipated move should be 150% after the break. And with my eyes and what I see right now, those who missed the opportunity to buy in the breakout, they are now getting a retest. And that retest is coming exactly near the bottom. And you have this moving average, the 200-day moving average on a 12-hour is supporting you. So now you extend this 144% from the top and you reach somewhere like this, 0.83, right? So if you are measuring this one, you understand one thing perfectly, that we went almost towards 70-80% of that target. So technicals are really important if you are setting your orders to take profit or open a position. Now, when we have already completed this particular pattern, now you are questioning what's going to happen next, right? So now that you understand this, it's easy for you to just go back into a daily chart and understand the current trend. Say, if you are looking at the resistance trend line of the same pattern, you can see something like this, right? We were having this kind of trend, but we broke above. Right now we are inside, but what are you actually looking for? U-turn. We are actually going back. Now, when I say we are actually going back, we are going back into a bull market. That's what you have to understand. If you are connecting this correctly, you will see something like this. We were in the bear market, we consolidated, we capitulated, then we started slowly grinding to the upside, and this upside is so clear for you guys. I know still there are guys saying this asset is not going anyway, but from last 1 year, if you are zooming in, this is what you can actually see. And how many of you still think this is so bearish? Now, yeah, short-term volatility and that carnage will always be there in the market, where there is a lot of guys thinking, I'm gonna be a millionaire. If you want to be a millionaire, there are different tools you need to use, and one of them is patience. Second and most important thing is discipline. So combining patience and discipline, you are one of the best investor, but 99% of you guys lack it. Now I'm saying this with 650 patrons as of the moment. I can only see 50 or 45 of them playing in a disciplined manner. Others are really having difficulty managing their emotions. When the price pumps, it's really hard for them. That's why I always suggest learn, listen and read, because as you increase your technical and fundamental ability, you also need to invest in yourself. You need to improve the investor in yourself, because when you see these kind of fundamentals showing you how we are going to move and how this is going to improve, you need to understand the question is that payments are changing, and here a customer is stating it clearly. Being a part of RippleNet has helped us to completely enhance our customer experience, expand our business and keep SCB moving into the future. So what is the future based on? These guys, IMF, BIS and others state this. Right now here Payments Canada also highlights this. They are all working on a real-time payment network, and here you can see this. XRP Crypto Wolf sent me this, and a great shout out to him. Now he points this MoneyGram, which is a huge partner of Ripple, is coming out with a real-time P2P solution. Now this is kind of one of the first in the industry where you get that. Now this corridor is towards Vietnam. Consumers can transfer money digitally through MoneyGram's mobile app or website instantly to any Visa card holder located in Vietnam. Now previously we went through an idea that Visa is going to use cryptocurrencies for their payments. Now these are kind of adding easily. Now Central Bank Payment News tweeted this one. Azerbaijan's central bank expanding its payments system. One by one different countries are working on this, and if you are missing out, you do need to update yourself. The fundamentals are always evolving, and as we evolve, you need to stay updated. Now, when I say you need to stay updated, it's not only about the price fluctuation here in the short term, but you zoom back, step back. Now look at it on the macro scale and you understand, okay, short term, it's kind of kicking you, but on the long term, you are positioning yourself to kick the whales, because whales have a lot of limitation. You do have to understand. Now, when I say that, you'll be confused, but yes, they do have a lot of issues to manage, whereas a retail investor like you can decide yourself to take profit, make profit and stay aligned, because when this market shows you different opportunity, you can jump out from one another, but always understand you should be staying on top of it, not below. You are jumping to make profit. Now if you are doing that the opposite side, you're gonna get wrecked, and you don't need that. If you understand this market, you can see opportunities everywhere. When you see these green candles, go look at your portfolio and ask yourself what you were actually thinking about, because this is not that cool stuff. You need to always understand what you are looking at. Say here, we just saw how the quant went to the sky, right? 84% in a week. Now, these are posts which I give to my patrons, and we are updating based on almost every patterns and opportunity which I see. But the patience factor is that one thing which you need even if you follow me, because if you're following me and if you're not making profits, like 2 to 3% of them are still struggling to make profit. And when I look at these, I understand one thing: some of the opportunities which I posted 10 days back, 15 days back have reached now. Say, look at here on Jan 28th, I highlighted there is a huge opportunity in quant and you have to be patient and disciplined. But some were not disciplined. But look at the price right now. We started this from $6. Now it's 39. A lot of entrants came around 10, 12. Now if they were patient, it's like 200, 300% profit. Now if you want to get these kind of updates for your portfolio of different assets, you can follow the Scientific Investor in the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Now, if you received value, you can consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.